Howdy ho! We are here for our weekly anchor message where we are taking a look at the spiritual assignments for the week. Hope everybody is good. So from the wild unknown archetypes, we've got the flame, followed by the unseen, followed by the hunter. Underneath the flame, we have the Queen of Swords, who's back again this week. Underneath the unseen, we have Two of Wands. And underneath the hunter, we have the Star. All right, I'm going to let you listen to a very quick audio, and then we will talk about the cards in more detail. We are entering into a new level of clarity and passion. Wow, just cutting through every illusion, seeing glimpses of the bigger picture at play. We feel and trust the draw of our soul and feel led and guided by the presence of the Spirit of the Creator. We do everything above and beyond our power, including surrendering our own expectations of outcome, and align ourselves with this higher truth and wisdom, heart, mind, soul, body, and spirit. We choose the right thoughts. We cultivate the right emotions. We take positive, proactive action in sovereignty of mind and sobriety of spirit, and the highest consciousness to create beauty, harmony, and good fruits through our deeds for the sake of sharing. Keep your hope and your joy full. Keep taking consistent, diligent, grounded action. May peace be with you. So I love this reading. It's very comforting to me. I was just telling somebody, several people have brought up this conversation with me the last few days. They're like, Liz, are you feeling the Aries, energy? Are you excited for Aries season to be over? Are you, sad it's over? Like, what do you feel? Because I'm an Aries. And I was thinking, man, I didn't even feel like I was ramping up for Aries season really until the day of my birthday, which is the last day of Aries. Like, I was participating in all the events and I was trying to keep my head in the right space. But I didn't flit around and feel just like in my own essence and feel like the coming alive within me of spring, like bouncy and springy and blossoming myself. I didn't really feel it until the last day, until my birthday, and then I was exhausted from the planning, and so I was hardly even sprightly during my party. But I'm feeling it now, and it has been a challenge, I think, to protect my flame, because there has been so many just horrors, a stream of them throughout 2026. The things coming out into our awareness have just been worse and worse and worse and worse, from the Epstein file details and the war breaking out, the natural disasters that many of us have lived through this year, just ongoing, still worried about people who are trying to survive in Gaza and all the other countries in the world that are struggling. Like, what's going on in Cuba right now? What happened with that, So it's been very hard. And then recently, this rape academy with 62 million visits on a slow month in February. It was just it's a lot to take in. And it was a lot to be able to emotionally process without being in that quagmire, It was trying to really shake off this depression for months. And so now I finally feel like I have some level of sobriety of spirit. Like I know the horrors, I see the horrors, I feel for the horrors, but I'm getting my functionality back. And I love this because the flame card talks about how delicate our inner fire is, our inner flame, and that we need to protect it because it can so easily get snuffed out. And I think that this flame is not only our will power and our will to live and our desire, for our dreams and everything, but I think it's the flame of our hope, right? Because if our hope starts to dwindle, then so does our desire, because we feel like, what's the point? There's no container for this desire if there's no hope, right? So I think that we have to really protect this fragile flame of our hope, of our whimsy, of our joy, of our dreams, of our desire to pursue and to keep going, and to believe that, all things are a season and a passing moment. Nothing is forever. Nothing is permanent. And so in a way, it's like really sad to me because I'm always like, oh no, I'm attached. I want things to be permanent. But it's also a relief when things are bad and you're like, God, if this feels like it's never going to change. Isn't that the way it is? It's like when things are nice and perfect, they inevitably change. And then when things are awful, it feels like they're never going to change. It's a frustrating part of life. But I think that too recently, I think we're getting a lot of clarity. The Queen of Swords has clarity out the wazoo, out the yin yang. And like, it's hard to feel like you get, on the Queen of Swords good side very easily. She can come off as like icy or even maybe like a judgy or distant or hard to get to know. But I think that once a Queen of Swords has like sussed you out and she knows what you're about and you gain her trust and you continue to not be on that shit list, you're golden. Like, she'll do anything to fight for you and have your back, right? And I think a lot of us are having a Queen of Swords moment where we're seeing everything for what it truly is. And we're seeing it so clearly. And we're really we're really owning the moment to take that sword and draw a line in the sand and say, this is not going with me any further. There's going to be no more of this. And this is what I am expanding in moving forward. More of this, yes, please. And so I think that we are really not suffering fools anymore. I think that we are past that point. I think that we have a deeper connection with our greater why it is that we want to do the things that we do, what's really important to us, what we truly value, and what the bar is, And I think too, I think we are feeling ready again to kind of draw from our inner strength and gather our wherewithal, because there were moments, where we're we have taken a beating like Rocky and we're like, I don't know if I can go on. But I think we've gotten our second wind, right? And we've pulled ourselves together. We've splashed the metaphysical cold water on our face and we can see what needs to be done and we're ready to do it. And we're ready to cultivate our heart, mind, soul, and strength into that purpose, and do that with alignment with the Creator, right? And we're seeing the things that sever our connection with the Creator that create stumbling blocks for us. And part of that is evil speech, right? And another part of it is sowing division rather than unity. Right. So a lot of the things that we are saying and doing, a lot of it is keeping us in a going in a circle, right? It's keeping us in a dead end. And so if we can clean up our thoughts and our speech and our actions, and we're not being reactive, but we're becoming more, we're learning how to bear more affinity with the Creator, not from a God complex kind of thing, where the mental illness is happening a lot in the world, but from a position of, I want to be a compassionate, merciful, generator of beauty and harmony and sharing and giving and love and, building things up and offering goodness through my words and deeds and acts, and not destruction and evil and tearing down, right? So I think that with this newfound energy and clarity, I think we're feeling a lot better. I think that there are times in our life where we're on the path and we feel like there was a period of my life where I went through what I called the divine fog. And it was like this time of uncertainty where I wasn't clear what the plan was. I wasn't clear what my direction was. I wasn't clear where I was on the path. Nothing was clear. It was like a fog had set in. It was all around me, and I could only take one tiny step at a time, one foot in front of the other, very carefully. But I knew to trust that season because I knew I was there for a reason. I knew it was bringing me through something and strengthening my certainty beyond my faith, beyond my logic or reason. But it built something where, somebody was talking about this the other day. I think it was Feel Good. And he was like, people ask me all the time if I believe in God. And he was like, believe is something that you hold on to when something is out in the future. It's ahead of you. You don't have it yet. You haven't experienced it yet. You believe that something can happen. But when you are in it and you are doing it, then you know it. And it's not a belief anymore. You don't believe it's going to happen because you're already living it. It's come true. It's come to its fulfillment. And so for him, he was trying to explain, like, I don't believe in God because I know and experience God for myself. So it's not a belief because there's no doubt, I know God because I have a firsthand relationship with God. So I think that that's a different kind of quality of that dynamic. And I would say that too. I think that, we're getting to that point where we're like, we don't believe in God. We just know God. We experience God. We are one with God in so many instances, right? And we can certainly sever ourselves from God in so many instances too, when we, slip and we have a short circuit and we get reactive. But the grace is that the second we can switch our consciousness back, we switched our energy back, right? We've switched on our connection again. So we have the unseen here, and we have Two of Wands. And it's like this girl is sitting on the roof of her home, right? It's like she's still in the place where she began, her origin, right? But she's up on the rooftop. She's surpassed what has been thus far. And she's holding the world in her hands, thinking about all the potential and possibilities there are to come. All her resources and talents and things that are there. If she can, mine for them within herself and extract them and use them and share them for good. She's looking out at the moon as if to say, I know that I am going further from here. This is just a starting point. But I am at the end of where I have been, and I'm about to set out on and expand my horizons. And so this is about vision. This is about seeing that there is more to come, and feeling that pull and that longing, and feeling that potential and knowing that it's there. This card, the unseen, is about being led by spirit. I need to stir my stew. It's like we're feeling like we're being led by the unseen realm, led by the spirit, that we're not lost, that we're not off path. But I think that back to that whole divine fog, I feel like sometimes it does feel like it feels like we're lost. It feels like we're, I don't know, maybe in the wrong spot, or we got off track or something, because there's like a lull in action and everything's not really clear about the direction or the movement. It feels like kind of the same as a fog, right? But it feels like, am I lost? Am I not? And am I going the wrong way? Do I need to make a change? Because it just doesn't feel like anything is happening, right? It feels like driving through a very vast and distant miles and stretches of like the same planes and the same like you haven't passed any signs, you haven't passed any billboards, and you're like, did I miss my turn? Did I miss my exit? And I think we're starting to feel more settled and resolute that we did not miss our exit. We're not off path. We didn't take the wrong route, that this is the way it is intended to be, and that we're still going in the right direction. We're still keeping the right pace. It's just we're getting through another season of uncertainty and we're pushing through. But I think that we're feeling more and more confidently that we are being guided by the unseen realms, by the spiritual realms, and we feel like we can trust that call and that tug of our soul. And I feel that we can put all of our heart in something and cultivate the right thoughts, cultivate the right consciousness, cultivate the right feelings, and choose those with consciousness and presence and sovereignty, and not get lost and not feel the fear and the lack and the doubt, thinking that we have done something wrong or we're off, but we can trust the path and we can trust that we are being guided. Right? And that our actions are aligning with that. And so at that point, the last step is just to surrender. Surrender to the process, surrender to the timeline, right? Surrender our like rigid expectations about how things should look, or how things should be timed out, or how things should go, or how things should play out or come together. We have to set aside our rigid expectations and be open to surprises. Now, setting aside your expectations is different from having no standards, because I know that a lot of players will try to tell you and sound very evolved, like, oh, let's not have any expectations. Let's not have any expectations. And what they mean is, don't set any standards on me. Don't have any needs, right? Like, let's just, see how it goes, right? That's not what we're saying here. No. What we're saying is that if I feel like this should have been, this thing should have been successful by now, or I want this to be this certain way, and I want this business to take off, and we have these expectations for how it's all going to play out. Ooh, I want to get a job with this company, and I want to get, married by this age and have this much in savings before I have kids. And those are expectations that may not ever deliver. Right? And so we have to be more flexible, to be adaptable and spontaneous, and have our standards and have, discernment. But we don't know how God's going to work, how things are going to play out, how things are going to fall into place, the where, the when, the who, the why, right? We just know that if it is in God's plan and we're showing up doing our part, then the heavens are going to work together to help bring things into position and bring things into place. So our job is to trust the call of spirit, trust the guidance, trust our divine guidance and act on it, believe and in our hope and believe in our potential. And continue to keep that fire under our butt and that passion in our hearts about going after what we want, going after our dreams, pursuing healing, pursuing our tikkun correction. The horse from Neverending Story, Atreyu's horse, it gets pulled down into the tar of despair in those swamps, right? And then it loses the will to keep walking, to get itself out of the tar, and it gets pulled down and it's drowned in its own hopelessness, right? And so we need to be the opposite. We need to be like this horse, hunting and galloping towards what we want with fire and with intention and with determination and with moxie. And so the star card here is about major, major healing, major tikkun correction, dreams coming true, like big, huge life desires where you're like, oh, I've wanted this for so long. I've worked for this for so long. Like, it's about hope that things are about to break loose and break free for you. That things like the faucet has been dripping and now it's just going to run and it's going to gush. So have faith, have hope, and keep pursuing your desires with that confidence, that hope, that energy, that gusto, right? How different is our energy, the quality of our energy when we're taking an action and we're doing something, when we feel hopeless, like, what's the point of this? What's the point? And we just keep showing up and doing it, which is, it's something to be said for that too, about just pushing past the despair and just showing up. But if you're just like kind of half-hearted and you're like, oh, whatever, I guess I'll do it, as opposed to taking the bull by the horns and doing something with enthusiasm and hopeful, anticipation that it's going to be a positive thing, that kind of fire it's spiritually contagious and it's very fertile, right? Whereas the meh energy is not very fertile at all. It doesn't really go anywhere, right? It's like if the pollen from a flower doesn't like get blown all over the other flowers, like the plant won't make fruits, like the plant won't make the tomatoes. Like that's why the bees are so important, because they go around and they pollinate all the blooms, and then the blooms produce the fruit after that. If you don't have any bees around, you have to like do it with a brush. Right? So it's like, if you don't have this strength, this desire, this fire, then it's like the pollen doesn't go. It's just like, it's like flaccid. It's like impotent pollen. Your stamen is impotent. Flower talk. Right? So we need that fire. We need that passion. We need that purpose and determination and excitement and positive anticipation and optimism. And that is magnetic, and that really adds momentum and fuel to your efforts and your manifestations. All right, that one was pretty straightforward and short and sweet tonight. I love it. As usual, I caught up with a lot of the Zohar lessons this morning and some from yesterday because it was my birthday, so I had to rush off to work and to lunch. But I thought it was really interesting that, as always, our Saturday night topics and even last night's weekly energy oracle forecast totally line up with the Zohar lessons that are commentary on the Torah for the portions of the week, which is always wild, but not. I'm like, it's not surprising, but it's always entertaining and fun to find out. All right, you guys, that's all for tonight. We'll be back together tomorrow for our weekly manifestation oracle message. Till then, peace.